In the 1980s and 90s, the action blockbuster The Terminator made history in cinema. But behind the spotlight were real-life stories filled with tragedy. Many of the actors who helped create the legend went through sudden deaths, accidents, addictions, or heartbreaking losses few could have imagined. Let's uncover the true fates of the faces that once captivated the world. Paul Winfield as Lieutenant Ed Traxler. Paul Winfield was born on May 22, 1939, in Los Angeles, California. When he was 45 years old, he took on the role of Lieutenant Ed Traxler in The Terminator in 1984. His portrayal of a dedicated but ultimately helpless officer facing a killer from the future became an unforgettable part of the film and solidified Winfield's reputation, alongside the Oscar nomination he had earlier received for Sounder, 1972. Behind his career was a private life full of struggle. Winfield publicly came out as gay at a time when Hollywood was still steeped in prejudice. He shared a long relationship with his partner, Charles Gillen Jr., who became the greatest source of support in his life. But in 2002, Gillen died of AIDS, leaving a void that could never be filled. That loss plunged Winfield into depression, and his mental health rapidly declined, from which he seemed never able to recover. Even before he could heal emotionally, his health became another burden. Winfield battled type 2 diabetes, obesity, and a long-standing smoking habit. These combined to severely weaken his heart. Friends recalled that he slowly withdrew from work, isolating himself in loneliness and illness. It was this mixture of grief and failing health that eventually brought his life to an end. On March 7, 2004, Paul Winfield died from a sudden heart attack at the age of 64. He left behind a net worth of about $3 million, mostly from film and television, though much of it was drained by medical expenses. He was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park, closing the chapter on a life marked by loss, but remembered as courageous and talented. Earl Bowen as Dr. Peter Silberman. Earl Bowen was born on November 7, 1941, in New York. He first appeared in The Terminator, 1984, at the age of 43, and returned in Terminator 2, Judgment Day, 1991, at 50. His role as Dr. Peter Silberman, a skeptical, rigid, yet subtly sarcastic psychiatrist, brought balance between tension and humor and became one of the most memorable supporting characters in the franchise. The role also helped Bowen expand into a successful voice acting career. However, his private life was not as smooth as his career. Bowen went through 2 marriages, both of which ended due to his demanding work schedule. He never had children, a fact that left his later years filled with loneliness. In several interviews, Bowen candidly admitted to feeling emptiness, with the stage and recording booth as his only sources of support. A lifetime of smoking took its toll. In his later years, he was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, a condition he kept secret from the public so he could continue working. Though he persisted with voice acting roles, his health steadily deteriorated. In his final months, Bowen lived in pain and exhaustion, with little family companionship. On January 5, 2023, Earl Bowen passed away in Hawaii at the age of 81. His net worth was estimated at about $5 million, largely from his hundreds of voice roles in games such as Monkey Island and popular series like Star Trek. Franco Columbu as future Terminator. Franco Columbu was born on August 7, 1941, in Ololai, Italy. He served as Arnold Schwarzenegger's body double in action scenes in The Terminator 1984 when he was 43 years old. Though his appearance was brief, the role carried special significance, extending Columbu's image from bodybuilding legend to the big screen while also strengthening the legendary bond between him and Schwarzenegger. Behind the spotlight, Columbu faced challenges in his marriage. He married Deborah and had a daughter, Maria, but family happiness was tested by his constant travel between Italy and the United States. His close companionship with Schwarzenegger, acting both as his best friend and trainer, also created distance in his married life. The strain lingered for years, leaving Columbu with a sense of disappointment at his inability to balance career and family. Health, too, became a heavy burden. In 1974, Columbu suffered a severe back injury during competition, a condition that left him in chronic pain for the rest of his life. Long-term use of painkillers and failed surgeries further damaged his body. On top of that, years of strict dieting and intense training gradually weakened his heart, an underlying factor that ultimately led to tragedy. On August 30th, 2019, Franco Columbu died at the age of 78 in a drowning accident off the coast of Sardinia while attempting to save a friend. His net worth was estimated at about $10 million, built from his Mr. Olympia titles, acting roles, and gym businesses. Columbu left behind a legacy as a champion, an actor, and above all, Arnold Schwarzenegger's loyal friend. Bill Paxton as punk leader. Bill Paxton was born on May 17, 1955, in Fort Worth, Texas. He appeared in The Terminator, 1984, at just 29 years old, playing the punk leader, a street thug who confronts the Terminator in the film's opening scene. Though it was a fleeting role, it marked a turning point that opened the doors to Hollywood, leading Paxton to establish himself in blockbusters like Aliens, Twister, and Titanic. But behind the fame, Paxton's married life was not always peaceful. His first marriage quickly ended while his career was still in its early stages. The second time, he married Kelly Rowan and had 2 children. Although the marriage was stronger, the pressures of fame, especially after the massive success of Titanic, 1997, often created family tension. Paxton admitted he struggled to balance his duties as a husband and father with the relentless demands of acting. Alongside marital struggles, Paxton's health repeatedly raised alarms. He had smoked since his teenage years and also inherited a congenital heart condition. The demands of constant filming led him to delay treatment, letting the illness linger for years. When he finally chose to undergo heart valve replacement surgery, what should have been a routine procedure led to complications with irreversible consequences. On February 25, 2017, Bill Paxton died at the age of 61 due to complications from heart surgery, at a time when he was working on the television series Training Day. His net worth was estimated at around $25 million, earned from acting, producing, and real estate investments. A worthy fortune, yet one that closed in tragedy. Lance Henriksen as Detective Hal Vukovich. Lance Henriksen was born on May 5, 1940 in New York. When he was 44 years old, he played Detective Hal Vukovich in The Terminator, 1984, a supporting role that helped ground the story in a sense of gritty realism amidst the battle between humans and the Terminator. This role reinforced Henriksen's image as a familiar face in science fiction and horror, paving the way for him to become the man of cold, hard-edged roles on screen. But Henriksen's personal life was marked by turmoil. He went through 3 marriages, all of which ended in divorce. His busy career and relentless filming schedules kept him away from home, straining his relationships with his 2 sons. Henriksen admitted that he carried guilt for never being able to fully balance being a dedicated actor with being a complete father. These fractures left deep emotional wounds that followed him throughout his life. Beyond family struggles, Henriksen also faced health battles. Years of hard physical labor from childhood, combined with decades of smoking and drinking, led to heart problems and chronic joint pain. The constant pain weakened his health and made it difficult to sustain the intensity of his work. To cope, he gave up cigarettes and alcohol and turned to painting as a form of therapy, using art as a way to heal both body and spirit. Today, Lance Henriksen is 85 years old and still active in small projects while devoting much of his time to painting and exhibiting his artwork. His net worth is estimated at around $5 million, earned from acting, voice work, and art. Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger was born on July 30, 1947, in Thal, Austria. He played the Terminator in The Terminator, 1984, at the age of 37 and returned in Terminator 2, Judgment Day, 1991, at 44. The cold, silent, and haunting character propelled Arnold from bodybuilding champion to action film legend, launching a string of blockbusters and later a high-profile political career. Yet his marriage carried tragedy. In 1986, Arnold married Maria Shriver of the Kennedy family, and together they had 4 children. Their model family image collapsed in 2011 when he admitted to fathering a son with housekeeper Mildred Patricia Biehn. The scandal shattered public trust, led to a divorce settlement of about $400 million, and plunged Arnold into depression and isolation for a long time. At the same time, his health was severely tested. Years of steroid use during his bodybuilding career and an intense training regimen left lasting effects. He underwent 2 heart valve replacement surgeries, first in 2018 and again in 2020. Still, with iron discipline and willpower, Arnold has continued to train regularly, using fitness as a way to maintain his health and confront aging. Today, Arnold Schwarzenegger is 78 years old and remains active in select film projects, while also focusing on philanthropy and environmental advocacy. His net worth is estimated at around $450 million, coming from films, real estate, and his fitness businesses. Joe Morton as Miles Dyson. Joe Morton was born on October 18, 1947, in the Bronx, New York. He played Miles Dyson in Terminator 2, Judgment Day, 1991, at the age of 44, the brilliant scientist who unwittingly creates the technology that leads to Skynet. His character was a crucial link in the story, providing emotional balance to the film and ensuring Morton would be remembered by audiences worldwide. Behind his stable career, however, was a personal life filled with challenges. Morton married twice, but both marriages ended in divorce, largely due to work pressures and long filming schedules that kept him away from home. He has 3 children, but he has admitted there was often a large distance between him and them, as his devotion to work left him absent from many important family moments. Alongside these emotional struggles, Morton also faced racial prejudice within the film industry, often being typecast in supporting roles as a black actor. This unfair treatment left him frustrated and exhausted, affecting both his career trajectory and his personal well-being. While he did not suffer from severe or life-threatening illnesses, the constant stress from professional battles and personal losses took a toll on his mental health. In 2025, Joe Morton is 78 years old and continues to act in both film and television while also devoting time to the stage, where his career first began. His net worth is estimated at around $4 million, earned from his acting career and stage directing work. Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor. Linda Hamilton was born on September 26, 1956, in Salisbury, Maryland. She first embodied Sarah Connor in The Terminator, 1984, at the age of 28, and returned in unforgettable fashion in Terminator 2, Judgment Day, 1991, at 35. The character of Sarah Connor turned Hamilton into an iconic female action hero and made her an indispensable figure in 1990s cinema. But Hamilton's personal life was full of turbulence. She went through 2 marriages, the most famous being to director James Cameron from 1997 to 1999. That marriage quickly collapsed under the weight of fame, grueling work schedules, and deep differences in lifestyle. After the divorce, Hamilton became a single mother, raising 2 children on her own while struggling to balance family life with her demanding career. These heartbreaks left long-lasting emotional scars. Beyond her marital struggles, Hamilton also battled bipolar disorder, diagnosed in 2000. Severe depressive episodes forced her to step away from acting multiple times, with periods where she nearly disappeared from the screen altogether. Her long-standing smoking habit also caused respiratory issues, and a devastating house fire in 2004 destroyed many of her possessions and mementos, pushing her into another wave of despair. Still, Hamilton showed remarkable resilience, eventually returning to reprise her role as Sarah Connor in later installments of the franchise. Today, Linda Hamilton is 69 years old and remains active in the entertainment industry, appearing in both film and television, while also dedicating herself to community projects that raise awareness about mental health. Her net worth is estimated at about $70 million, largely from the Terminator franchise and her role in Beauty and the Beast. Hamilton is now regarded as a symbol of endurance, both as a fierce heroine on screen and as a resilient woman in real life. Michael Biehn as Kyle Reese. Michael Biehn was born on July 31, 1956, in Anniston, Alabama. He appeared in The Terminator, 1984, at just 28 years old, playing Kyle Reese, the brave soldier who travels back from the future to protect Sarah Connor. This role became a turning point in his career, establishing Biehn as a rising face in action films and extending his fame with hits like Aliens and The Abyss. However, behind the screen, his married life unraveled more than once. Biehn went through 2 divorces, first with Carleen Olsen and later with Gina Marsh. Both marriages collapsed largely because of his struggle with alcoholism, which began in the 1990s. His uncontrolled drinking cost him custody of his children and gradually eroded his financial stability. The failures in his personal life pushed him further into isolation, creating distance from family ties. Alongside broken marriages came declining health. What began as social drinking in his youth quickly escalated into severe addiction, damaging both his body and mind. Alcoholism derailed his career, turning him from a promising action star into someone typecast and eventually forgotten as major opportunities slipped away after Aliens. His drinking also weakened his liver and immune system, forcing him to step away from mainstream Hollywood. In 2025, Michael Biehn is 69 years old. He lives a reclusive life, taking part only in a handful of small projects and spending time with his private family. His net worth is estimated at around $4 million, coming from his earlier film career and a few independent production projects. Today, Biehn is remembered more as a symbol of the past, forever linked with the heroic image of Kyle Reese in The Terminator. Epatha Merkerson as Teresa Dyson. Epatha Merkerson was born on November 28, 1952, in Saginaw, Michigan. She appeared in Terminator 2, Judgment Day, 1991, at the age of 39, playing Teresa Dyson, the wife of scientist Miles Dyson. Though only a supporting role, her character added human depth to the story, showing the personal cost of technological invention on an ordinary family. The role also added weight to Merkerson's already rich television career. In her personal life, Merkerson married Toussaint L. Jones in 1994, but after more than a decade, the marriage ended in divorce in 2006. The demands of her busy work schedule and differences in lifestyle gradually pulled them apart. Having no children, she chose to live independently, once candidly admitting that such a life is lonely but free, reflecting her acceptance and calmness in the face of emotional loss. Her greatest challenge came in the form of health. In 2003, she was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, a disease that ran in her family. Years of poor eating habits had made her condition worse. After the diagnosis, she was forced to completely change her lifestyle, adopting a strict diet, regular exercise, and careful health management. This personal struggle transformed into motivation, leading her to become a diabetes awareness ambassador, using her fame to spread public understanding. In 2025, Epatha Merkerson is 73 years old and remains active in both acting and social causes. She is best known for her long-running role in Law and Order, for which she won an Emmy, and also continues to work in voice acting. Her net worth is estimated at around $12 million, earned through television, film, and voice work. Merkerson today is seen as proof of resilience, someone who overcame illness to keep contributing to both art and community. Robert Patrick as T-1000. Robert Patrick was born on November 5, 1958, in Marietta, Georgia. He appeared in Terminator 2, Judgment Day, 1991, at the age of 33, playing the T-1000, the advanced killing machine with a liquid metal body. Cold, emotionless, and immensely powerful, the character became one of the most iconic villains of 1990s cinema, catapulting Patrick from obscurity into recognition in Hollywood. Behind his successful career, however, Patrick faced many personal challenges. Born into a poor family, he grew up constantly moving between cities, leaving him with feelings of insecurity and displacement. During the 1980s, before achieving fame, Patrick fell into alcohol and cocaine abuse, a dark period that nearly destroyed both his life and career. Though he was fortunate to marry Barbara in 1990 and have 2 children, the strain of being constantly typecast as villains left him with psychological stress, putting his marriage under repeated pressure. On top of emotional struggles, Patrick also faced serious health setbacks. In 2000, he suffered a severe back injury during a filming accident that forced him to take 6 months off work. The chronic pain left him at times in despair. Years of heavy smoking further wore down his health, though he eventually managed to quit, calling it a turning point in regaining balance in his life. Today, Robert Patrick is 67 years old and continues to maintain a steady acting career, appearing in numerous television and film projects such as The X-Files and Peacemaker. His net worth is estimated at around $6 million, earned from his long career and television contracts. Jenette Goldstein as Janelle Voight. Jenette Goldstein was born on February 4, 1960, in Los Angeles. She appeared in Terminator 2, Judgment Day, 1991, at the age of 31, playing Janelle Voight, John Connor's foster mother. Though her role was brief, the shocking twist in which her character is killed by the T-1000 created one of the most chilling and unforgettable moments in the film. The performance further solidified Goldstein's reputation after her earlier success in Aliens. But her personal life was marked by fractures. In 1990, she went through a divorce, largely due to the pressures of fame and workload following Aliens. Choosing to raise her daughter as a single mother, she faced loneliness after the breakup, but continued to find strength in her small family as her only support system. Her acting career was also fraught with difficulties. Goldstein was often typecast as Latina characters due to her distinctive appearance, which limited her ability to branch out into different roles. The professional frustrations, combined with overwork, led to burnout and pushed her to seek a new direction outside of Hollywood. These struggles ultimately drove her decision to move into business. Today, Jenette Goldstein is 65 years old and focuses on running her lingerie brand, Jenette Bras, which has become highly successful. She occasionally appears at film events as a guest, but most of her time is dedicated to her business ventures. Her net worth is estimated at about $5 million, earned from both her acting career and her entrepreneurial success. Edward Furlong as John Connor. Edward Furlong was born on August 2, 1977, in Glendale, California. In 1991, at just 14 years old, he played John Connor in Terminator 2, Judgment Day, the rebellious boy who would one day become humanity's hope for salvation. The role not only transformed Furlong from an unknown teenager into a global star, but also earned him an MTV Movie Award, marking the dazzling peak of his youth. Yet behind the spotlight, Furlong quickly fell into tragedy. As a child star, he was exploited by his manager and lost his entire $1 million paycheck. His marriage to actress Rachel Bella could not save his chaotic life. Their divorce left a deep rift between him and his son, Ethan. Furlong later admitted with bitterness that he had not only lost his wife, but also the right to be a present father. Alongside the collapse of his marriage came the spiral of addiction. From his teenage years, Furlong sank into heroin, cocaine, and later methamphetamine, which led to repeated court appearances and even jail time in 2013. Drug abuse not only destroyed his career but also ravaged his health, to the point that he lost several teeth due to meth use. Those years turned him from a youthful icon into a grim, cautionary tale about the dangers of early fame. In 2025, Edward Furlong is 48 years old. After years of rehab, he is recovering and occasionally appears in small cameo roles. Although his net worth is only around $100,000, mostly from independent projects and efforts to rebuild his reputation, Furlong remains determined to rebuild his life. The image of John Connor once saving the world now reflects his own struggle to save himself. The real-life tragedies of the Terminator cast are surprising, aren't they? Do you think there are still shocking stories left untold among them? Leave a comment and hit subscribe so you won't miss more of Hollywood's hidden truths.